people get so like, I think when you hear the term, and for so much when it comes to the issue of race, people get a macro approach. In other words, like, how is this going to play out on the big scale of life? When, like, for us and the specific focus of this time that we're trying to have, we're focused on relationships, actual relationships, not the made up ones of like, how is this going to affect the people in Baltimore? Yeah. We're talking about my friends, your friends. How do one of my favorite books is called Diversity Competence. The subtitle is Cultures Don't Meet, People Do. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to talk about this on a micro level. So, we want to remove the idea of like white privilege as some macro idea, but really about how do I create deeper relationship with a friend who is a person of color who may assume, because I think relationships already start on a negative in the sense of like, you're assuming, I'll use you and me. You might assume I have some views, whether I do or not. I might assume you have views, whether you do or not. These conversations open those things up if we can do it in a spirit of humility. And I was thinking about terminology. My second idea is that like we've seen some famous people, we've seen Christians try to create new terminology around this and really fail. Because in many ways, the terminology is it is what it is. It makes sense. Whether you like it or not, it's very clear. And I was thinking about, we do have to, and I like what you said, April, there's even been, we've thrown around this, or not we, but it's been thrown around this idea of defund the police, right? We keep hearing that all the time. And that creates another visceral reaction to many people. Black, brown, white, everybody has a yes or no. And you hear them kind of recreating that terminology now, redistribution of funds or so on. But I think with white privilege, it's such a clear idea that it does work, but it requires me, and it requires me as a white person to lower my defenses. I think it requires you as a black person to lower your offenses. Right?
Exactly.
Then we can have that conversation.
That's true. Because actually every instance of the responses I got was in how they were initially introduced to the term was in it was in the posture of being accused or, being told that they were something that they didn't even know they were, that was bad for, it was like, it was probably more the emotion wrapped in their introduction to the term, which is, like I said, we've talked about this in the past, but there's something about being a helpful victim, like even in the midst of hardship and being done in a way that's improper, still having the responsibility to act toward the betterment of the eventual outcome.